Your body is an ecosystem. There are over 1 trillion bacteria living on your skin. Our skin flora consists of 1,000 species from 19 phyla. And researchers from NC State University even ran a belly button biodiversity project. But there are far more bacteria in our digestive tract. One recent estimate put the total number of bacteria in our bodies at about 38 trillion cells. That's in comparison to 30 trillion human cells. In other words, you are composed of more bacterial cells than eukaryotic human cells. And it's not just numbers. We have a vast diversity of microbes as well. Hello, I'm Michael Griffin, and I'm a member of the Circular Church Climate Change Working Group. Over the past weeks, other members have been talking to you about climate victory gardens. And I'm here today to talk about biodiversity in our gardens and healthy foods in our bodies. We are wholly dependent on microbes to break down food that we are unable to. We are also dependent on their dynamic nature, changing proportions and evolving to process our ever-changing diet. Our cells themselves are born out of interdependence. Some of our organelles, like mitochondria, are descendants of ancient bacteria. They came to live in larger cells and then specialized their work. The independence of the self is but an illusion. Our beings are interdependent and more deeply are one. An ecosystem does not exist in isolation, at least not for very long. In the year of a pandemic, none of us need reminding that our physical bodies are connected with each other and with the whole of the earthly ecosystem in deep ways. We breathe in essential oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide, which is essential to other living entities. But it is not enough to think of our interdependence as transactional. As the bacteria in our gut prove, we are not just the recipients of gifts and threats from our environment. We are the environment in itself, inseparable, like a body in deep space. If we were to somehow be isolated from the surrounding environment, we would cease to be very quickly. A critical mechanism for interbeing with our nearby fellow ecology is the food that we eat, food that we bring to our mouths, food that we chew, food that our bacterial friends help break down, food that becomes our physical body, food that enhances or impairs our health and the health of our gut. I remember the second ever teaching I heard at Circular Church. Lucille Keller was discussing the importance of knowing the stories of our food, not just the taste and nutritional facts, but where did it come from? Where did it germinate? Whose hands or what machines tended it? What chemicals were sprayed on it? How was it processed, transported, sold? This is Lent, and the Climate Working Group has been sharing tips and thoughts on climate victory gardens. And I will confess that I'm not much of a gardener, at least not in my current phase of life. But the stories of my foods are so important to me. I deeply appreciate knowing the people who grow some of my food here in low-country soil. I know those vegetables are cared for, even loved, as they grow. How precious to eat food that's grown in this way. Truly caring for the food that we cultivate means caring for the soil it grows in. That soil, if doused with toxic chemicals, may have limited biodiversity. The healthy bacteria living in the soil are impaired and stripped from the food products that grow in it. On the other hand, when food is grown with organic practices, native species are planted, habitat is created for pollinators, water is slowed down and infiltrated, pollutants are filtered and attenuated, beneficial species are fostered, like earthworms and birds, butterflies and spiders, microbes, beetles, small mammals, and other vegetation. Organic fertilizers are used. Pests are managed not by toxic chemicals, but by natural processes and predators. All of these factors help contribute to the rich biodiversity of the soil. When the soil of a garden or a farm is loved and tended in these ways, the healthy bacteria can thrive in the soil and on the plants that grow in it. When we eat food produced in this way, we are nourished by the food, and our gut is nourished by the healthy bacteria on the food. Organic fruits and vegetables are probiotics. An apple can have 100 million healthy bacteria with a range far more diverse than dietary supplements. They are inside the apple, at its core, not just on the skin. The food is nutritious physically, bacterially, and perhaps psychologically or spiritually. We are coming to the end of Lent, a time of blessed bleakness and crisp reflection. The promise of rebirth lurking in the shadows of winter. And we move into Holy Week, into Maundy Thursday, the day we are called to have the most mindful of all meals. This is my body, grain grown in the precious soil teeming with microbes and bacteria, grain milled against stone and fashioned by the ecosystem of our hands. This is my blood, wine made from grapes that grow on aged vines, vines whose roots reach deep and wide into the soil of the earth, wine that ferments due to the work of yeast, a single-celled fungus. The body of Christ is an ecosystem of ecosystems. This Easter, let us seek rejuvenation through the richness of our soils and the health of our foods. Thank you.